I'm Jay Thomas, and welcome to Rides.
This show looks at anything that has an engine and a story told by the owners.
I'm Jay Thomas, and this is Rides. Today we are going to look at a stunning, full rotisserie restored 1978 Pontiac TA. Now, this car, this Trans Am, is kind of special for me too because it was a friend of mine. It was his car since he was in high school. It's like 15, 16 years old when he bought it. His name's Paul McCollum, and he passed away here not too long ago. And this Trans Am was his baby. He never got rid of it. He had it fully restored a few years back, and when he passed on, he passed his cars off to family members. Hanging out with me is my buddy, Kurt.
Hi.
Kurt, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Kurt is not the owner, but Kurt is the man responsible for this stunning restoration. You don't mess around. I mean, you do it to a T. If you climb underneath this car, Kurt, it looks like it rolled right off the factory.
Yeah, I've done several concours restorations, and that's the way Paul wanted this. He wanted it back the way when he bought it. He wanted exactly how it was, undercoating exactly the same, everything, so that's what we did.
Kurt, how long was the restoration on this car?
So we started off kind of slow and we're poking along, and then one day Paul came to me and he walked into the shop and he had kind of a long face, and I said, "What's up?" And he goes, "Well, I got bad news," he said. "I just found out I got cancer." I called the other customers that I had in the shop and I said, "You know what, I got this car in there, the guy's got cancer. He'd like to get it into Topper's Car Show." Everybody went, "Do it, get it done." So we did, we brought it in and we just hit it hard and we wrapped it up in just a matter of months. So we got it together and we got it into Topper's, and Paul was able to see it at Topper's Show.
Tell us about the 78 Trans Am.
Well, that was the last year of the 6.6. You know, it had still had the Pontiac motor.
Yeah.
We did find the build sheet of the car. This car had the build sheet behind the rear seat. So it is a numbers matching car.
All the way through.
All the way through.
Those wheels are not factory wheels, correct, but Paul's nephew, the family has the original wheels.
They have all the
for it.
original wheels. I was a high school shop teacher for 32 years, and Paul was one of my students. He worked at the local gas station, changed oil pump gas, did all light mechanic work and stuff all the way through high school. Paul, as a student, he wanted to race me all the time as a teacher. You know, I said, we can't do that.
I think the teacher might get in a little bit of trouble. Hey, can we take a look at the engine?
Sure.
Oh, you're Paul's nephew.
Yep.
And you are now the owner of this car.
Yep.
It's a beautiful car, dude. It is a beautiful car. All right, tell us about the engine.
Well, Ryan did it when Ryan was in college, and it's the original 400 Pontiac.
Okay.
And turbo 400 transmission. Paul wanted to keep as many things original, you know, the brake booster and stuff, that's all original, and the master cylinder and everything. I love finding the build
Go
sheet.
exploring. Where did you find it? Under the seat, back?
Back seat.
Because there's a back seat, sometimes above the gas tank, sometimes under the dash.
Yep.
For folks that don't understand or know what build sheets are, it's what the guys on the factory floor, there's a sheet with codes on it and tells you, okay, this is what you're putting on, this is what you're deleting. And finding that build sheet, yeah, that's like finding gold, man. That's money in the bank, baby.
Yep.
It's a family heirloom, man.
Great legacy to Paul.
Yeah, it's a great legacy. And Paul was such a nice and generous man. I knew Paul for years. His generosity was just amazing.
Yep.
So Paul, this is an honor to you, buddy. All right, let's go. Let's take her for a cruise. Oh yeah, it does sound nice, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Kurt and you guys all did a great job with this thing. You did the engine on it?
Engine and transmission, yep.
You got to be proud knowing that your uncle, this was in your uncle's hand since he was about 15, 16 years old, and he hung on to it.
Yeah, just the family history this thing has along. Yeah.
Well, and the stories that we couldn't tell on camera, they're fantastic, man. And they're Paul stories. Every single one's like, yeah, it sounds like Paul. And yeah, it's a shame we couldn't share them on the air, but some things are better left off the show.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Kurt, great job. Thank you for being on.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you.
Ryan, thanks for allowing us to come out and film your uncle's beautiful Trans Am. And I know you're going to enjoy it. And you're going to take good care of it. And it's a gorgeous car. Thanks again, guys, for being on.
You're welcome.
Rides. All right, we're back in Minnesota for rides again, guys. And the story on this is Bruce got this when he was 15 years old now. He still has this truck, and there's some great stories he's going to share about it. Bruce.
Jay.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Nice to meet you.
Finally meet you. Know the name, never met you.
Nice to meet you.
I've been trying to get this truck on rides for a few years, and we finally get to do it. Last name is Quick.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'd be doing like a muscle car or something. You know, like the last name. We're doing a 1951 International, what is it, an L110 series?
You got me. It's red.
It's a gorgeous truck. Tell us the history on this, Bruce.
My dad and mom owned a grocery store in a small town of less than 200 people. We used to take stuff to the dump ground, the landfill, before there was laws prohibiting that. And if you put rotten tomatoes or whatever in the back of your station wagon, your car stinks.
Yeah.
This farmer out here has got an old International sitting in the trees that needs a water pump. Dad picks it up for $50.
$50. What year was that?
That would have been 1966 or 67. So I drove it through high school, and I kept telling my friends at college, I went to NDSU, that I had this old truck. And they said, "I'll prove it." And I said, "Once you bring it down here, we can haul beer kegs around." The local mechanic that put the water pump in, he changes the oil, and it has that canister oil filter, and there's a gasket on the top.
Yeah.
He forgot to put the gasket back on. So we get in the truck, get about 40 miles from home, and it blows a rod. We call my dad, he grabs a friend of his, I tell him I think it's out of oil, and then they realize we don't have the gasket. And so Art, his friend, looks in the ditch, and there's a 12-pack cardboard container, and he makes a gasket out of his knife, and he puts the gasket in there, fills it with oil. But eventually the mechanic fixes the truck, no charge. They go back to Starkweather, our hometown. We hitchhike back to Fargo.
How many times has this thing been repainted?
I'd say 3 or 4. The first time was done by a retired highway patrol officer, and he did a fantastic job. And so he painted it twice over a period of 15 years. When I was in the state's attorney's office, I drove it every day, and then I was deputy attorney general. This was in the 80s, and I drove it to Bismarck, and I drove it every day because we only had one car. My wife drove that, and I drove this. And every time I drive it, I think of my dad.
How's the interior on this?
Well, Steenenberg did a really nice job.
Wow.
And we had Billy's Custom do that.
Oh, okay.
The seats are interesting because it was that Naugahyde with straw coming out.
Yep.
And it had a hole on the driver's side, so I always had a blanket I would sit on. My father-in-law one day borrowed my truck, said he had to haul something, and he takes it and he comes back with these seats. So he did this and paid for it just because. So the seats go back 30 years at least.
Really? Mm-hmm. Can we take a look at the power plant in this?
What side do you want to look at?
Oh, has this got a split hood?
Oh, yeah. So this is obviously not original. Daryl, my mechanic, did that.
Original engine, right? Just had it rebuilt.
That's right.
When you threw a rod, how many times you throw a rod in this?
Technically twice.
Technically twice.
First time we hitchhike, and then a second time.
Do you have any paperwork on this thing?
I do.
You do?
It was in the glove box when we bought it. So the original sticker is.
You still have the original sticker?
I didn't see any reason to throw it away.
No.
So it looks like it was bought in Grand Forks. It says International Harvester, and if you look closely, it says Grand Forks.
Well, let's take this thing out, boys.
All right, let's do it.
Ah! Jeez, that is a comfy seat. Yeah, buddy, there it is.
Not good mirrors on this.
Yeah, I see one. God, you don't even have a rear view mirror on this thing. Geez, I wonder why the kids don't want to drive it.
my neighbors get a kick out of this. They're always waving at me.
Are they? God, I love riding in these old trucks.
Well, it has the smell, right?
People that don't understand vehicles, when you say that to them,
No, it's
or they
true.
go, you always talk about the smell. What's it smell like? You can't explain it, but it instantly
absolutely
brings
true.
back memories.
It does. It really does. So I've driven this to Bismarck and drove it out there for 4 or 5 years, and I drove it to our hometown a couple times. And
What kind of gas mileage does this thing get if you're going to like Bismarck?
not great. Not great.
Buddy, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Well, I enjoyed meeting you.
Finally get you on rides, and it was worth the wait, man. I wish we would have done it sooner. Bruce, thank you for being on rides. Today, we are going to check out a Tesla Cybertruck. People love them, people hate them. I think they are really cool. There's a lot of misconceptions about electric vehicles. We're going to put some of those to rest today. We're going to explore a Cybertruck. Let's go find James. James, buddy.
Thanks for showing up.
Hey, man, wasn't too hard. You're only about 6-7 blocks from my house.
Very cool.
And I didn't even know this thing was in my neighborhood. There are so many misconceptions about electric vehicles. Let's go through some of those first. Can't have electric vehicles in the cold because you get no battery life.
Well, no battery life is ridiculous. I've driven my Model 3 for 5 years in the winter.
And no problem.
No problem, because even if I leave without a full battery or it's -20 and maybe I can't quite make it for 5 minutes, I get 80 miles of range in
5 minutes?
Yep.
No kidding.
And for about $3 or $4.
That's another misconception. Okay, I'm gonna charge this up. I'm gonna be there for a half hour, 45 minutes. Not true.
Not at all. Not even close. In 5 years owning that Model 3, I think I've sat at the charger more than a half an hour once or twice ever. We did have to go a long way without another supercharger.
Okay.
And it was a very niche situation.
If we lose internet, it's over.
Yeah, not at all true. As
true.
long as your Bluetooth is working on your phone, that's your key. Otherwise, you got 2 credit card sized keys up to the pillar here. It unlocks the door, then you drop it in the center console, allows you to drive.
Well, I think we hit the big ones. What are some of the features on this?
Sure. Well, as you see right now, it's stanced up because it's got air suspension. It'll go all the way down to where the wheel wells are basically hitting the tires. That's called entry mode.
Okay.
301 stainless. So it'll withstand up to a 9mm round. There's YouTube videos, you
Wow.
can look them up. What makes it the truck that people don't realize, it's got a full truck bed.
Oh, look at that.
6 inches longer than a standard F-150
Oh,
truck,
look at yeah,
truck
it goes,
bed.
okay.
Extra storage down here.
Cooler.
Yep.
It's got a plug in it? It does. It
Drain
does,
plug.
it does.
Just throw a bunch of ice in there, you got yourself a cooler.
Tonneau cover.
Yep.
Oh, you got
Got a button here, just roll it down.
Oh, look at that.
You can stop it anywhere you want in case you got a big item in the back.
That thing seems pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. You see the footprints on there already.
No.
So if you're gonna lock this up, they're gonna have to bring power tools to get in here.
Dude, that is one big windshield.
The idea is better range when you have the windshield wiper up, less drag.
Oh, sure,
Same
okay.
reason there's no door handles. If it wasn't required, they wouldn't have mirrors probably.
Where are the cameras on this?
Sure thing. So the ones that you would use for turning are right here.
Okay.
This is for self-driving and Sentry. A few in the front top of the windshield here. This is for parking like in your garage or nosing up to another vehicle. There's one out the back of the tailgate which gets used as your rear view camera if you have the tonneau closed.
Let's check out the interior, man.
You bet.
A steering wheel and a big computer screen.
Yes, sir.
That's it?
That's your controls.
How is this big truck with this tiny little steering wheel?
Yeah, so there's no physical linkage from the wheel to the front axle. It's all turned by computer. So that's a full turn.
And the back tires are turning too?
Yep.
Wow.
Allows for really tight turns. It's got the turning radius of my car, and it's in this big old truck. And that door opens 90 degrees. You can open it even further yet. Keep opening it, yep. So you can slide really big stuff in there. So like most trucks, those seats go up.
Don't get me wrong, folks. I love my combustion engines. I do. I love my hot rods. But this electric vehicle technology is something else. This has been an absolute blast. It changed my mind. There's just so many misconceptions out there. So you've had 5 years with these things, and you've got no complaint.
Yeah.
Well, evidently not.
If it was that bad, would
you
I
would have bought a
would I get that?
Cybertruck. Yeah. One more thing we gotta do. Can
Yeah.
we take this thing for a ride?
Absolutely.
How do I get in, James?
Push the button hard that lights up. Now grab the door.
Oh, this is cool. There's no noise,
quiet.
dude.
I'll
You
do it.
can, I mean, the power is right now.
And here's that one pedal driving. I have a stop sign. I'm just letting off. I'm not braking. So I'm just gonna
Just
roll
like
up to
that,
it.
huh?
Yep. Okay, your head's gonna go back a little.
Okay. Holy, are you kidding me? What the hell? Dude,
This is 0 to 60 in 4.1. The one above this is 2.6. So it can
0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds.
in the
other
tri-motor
one.
version. Yep. So we're just regen braking here. We should be able to do a legal U-turn up here.
Because this has got four-wheel steering.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna have to go way right. I can just be normal lane distance. Sorry.
Oh, I can
Thanks for
barely grab the dash.
The G-forces are something to fight.
I am in love with this thing, dude. It is so flippin' cool. When you launch this thing, the G-forces just slam you. I gotta tell you, James, I am so glad we got to take some time to get you on rides because I want people to see these things. Some people don't like them. They think they're ugly. They just don't like electric.
I get that.
I think the truck
I get
looks
that.
cool.
But the features and what it can do, it's incredible.
James, thanks for being on rides,
Absolutely.
man. Thank you. I'm Jake Thomas, and welcome back to Rides. Every week, we like to show you a really cool hangout, and this week's hangout, no exception. Don, we love coming out here because you always have great stuff. This time, though, we're going to feature you as one of our hangout segments, just where you and the guys come and hang out and show off your stuff. Great cars, great signage. Can we walk and talk?
Oh, yes.
Don, this car's world famous. Dave Kindig built.
This is the world famous Mischief.
Don, this one, I've been trying to get this off you for years, man. It ain't happening. What's the story, Don?
Story is on this, my cousin bought it brand new, and he offered to sell it to me. He came back for my grandpa's funeral and went home and drowned in his speedboat the next day. So then the car came to me.
And you've had
And
it
I've
ever-
never sold it. The only thing that I ever did to it is I put aftermarket wheels and tires on it. And of course, if you were a hot rod guy in the 70s, you gotta have headers.
Yep,
And you gotta have an Holly carb on it.
yep, and this has it.
That has it.
All right, let's talk about this stunner too. This is gorgeous.
This is a 57 Buick Caballero. It's called Dorothy because the gentleman that built this car is Oz Welch. And he's a famous builder out of California, and I always wanted a car that was built from California. So the color is Dorothy ruby red slippers.
It's stunning. Let's take a look at the Nova. This
Okay.
one's got a name too.
Novocaine.
Novocaine. Another stunning car. What year?
This is a 67. It's an LS7 in here. And a friend of mine from Sioux Falls, Larry, owned this car, and I ended up with the car once he knew that I had the car, because he didn't know I had it right away. So I call him on the phone, and I'm talking to him, and he goes, "What?" Then he realizes I have his car, and he didn't know it till then. So he calls me 2 days later, and he tells me the story about, well, you should be really careful with that car. He said, "This is what it did to me. I built the car, and I went out on the interstate, and he said I was running about 70 or 80, he said, and I nailed it. He said it went sideways on me. I didn't hit the ditch and didn't hit the car in the front of me." He said, "I took that car home and I never drove it for like a month."
Scared the living daylights
Out of him.
him.
So he just wanted to be aware that I didn't do that.
How are you behind the wheel with it, Don?
Very careful.
There you go.
The original motor to this truck is there, but
Okay.
this is a 56 GMC Suburban pickup, which is like a Cameo,
Yeah.
only ultra rare. GMC only built a few of them. What I have here is I acquired a 1960 Pontiac Super Duty. The intake is a 56 Pontiac NASCAR intake that is very rare.
Yes.
I had a friend of mine call me and say, I've got this intake. So I said, well, I want it. So I did run the numbers, and this is exactly what it is. So I ended up with one of my other motors had a couple of the right kind of carbs that would sit on a Pontiac Super Duty. So that's what I did there. This is a March Performance front piece. So I kind of conglomerated everything together to make it look this way.
Now, is this an original Pontiac service sign?
Actually had a sign company make that, and then we had the neon made for it, and there it is. But the patina on the side is original.
Oh, fan of rides. So you got a rides neon there, and you got another rides neon there.
It's a dual rides in here.
There you go. I love it. Oh, you got some great memorabilia in here, great cars. Always love coming out to Dickinson and hanging out with you and the guys.
We're having fun.
No, great hangout, man. You even got a kitchen in here where people can come if you want to make something to eat. You can go eat in the kitchen, hang out. Great signage, great memorabilia, great cars. Don, thank you for being on Rise. Hey, if you have a cool story that involves a car, a motorcycle, a boat, heck, anything with an engine, we want to hear about it. Just go to rideswithjthomas.tv, send us a picture with your story, and your ride could be featured on the show. And don't forget to visit the merch shop where you can get all your Rides gear. From everyone here at Rides, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Let's go for a ride.
Let's do it.
Is this thing going to start?
I don't know.
Hey, if you want to be on Rides, it's real easy. Reach out. We've been trying to get this truck on the car for years. The car is absolutely stunning, and if you want to, I don't know which camera to look at.
They're here relaxing already, having a smoke. I thought for sure we would kick their butt getting here.
You guys could push, right?